Hello and welcome back to Cinema Essentials. This episode is titled Sleight of Hand, named after how Abruzzi and Schofield cleverly manipulate and solve Falzoni's problems with sleight of hand tactics. If you're ready, let's begin Season 1 Episode 10. I'm your host Theo. Abruzzi is sitting on a bench arranging playing cards, racking his brains about what to do next. The new PI workers are busy moving equipment into rooms and tearing down walls, so he's worried about when they'll discover the hole. Boss, we've worked together for a long time. We've had some recent difficulties that caused problems. Let's fix this, Abruzzi tells Bellic. Even though Falzoni pays monthly, he only pays in envelopes. Boss, we've been working face to face based on that relationship. Please give me another chance, he pleads. Bellic responds, "You think I come to this prison every day for the measly $40,000 annual salary? It's because of these side deals that I show up daily. I'm planning to retire soon, already bought a house. But now you're slowing everything down." While walking and talking, Abruzzi tells Schofield, "I don't care about the Fibonacci sequence anymore. There are more important things to think about. This is life or death. Have you noticed how my friends around here are gradually disappearing? Soon I'll be killed. So I won't die in here. I need to break out as quickly as possible. We'll give Falzoni the Fibonacci sequence to get our PI jobs back, then take back PI from him." Falzoni is scared about the Fibonacci sequence being revealed at next month's congressional hearing. So if he gets Fibonacci, he'll return everything else, especially our PI work rights. In the chapel, while listening to Father preach, the two brothers discuss whether to hand over Fibonacci. Lincoln says, "He's worked for the mafia, just hand him over." But Schofield disagrees. "No, brother. Fibonacci is innocent like you, wrong place, wrong time. He was just a simple working manager at one of Abruzzi's warehouses. One day, he witnessed Abruzzi and Falzoni committing murder. Knowing they were killers and having communication intelligence, he testified in court. Thanks to government witness protection, Fibonacci could live peacefully for life." Schofield explains. Lincoln asks what they should do next. "If we don't hand over Fibonacci, all our prison plans will fail. If we do hand him over, an innocent man will surely die. Let me think carefully about this." Caroline calls Paul Kellerman and his partner, asking if they've reached the waiting location. When they ask why they're waiting there, Caroline says a friend is coming, someone who solves problems. Treat him like a team member. When his partner asks what she's talking about, Paul Kellerman says, "Grandma's voice is changing. The pattern's the same though. We'd better be more careful with our work from now on." Sucre, walking around sweeping, calls out to Schofield sitting on the bench, "Hey man, you should come see this." When he sees them carrying carpet rolls, he asks if they're for the guard room. "Probably," replies the worker carrying the materials. When asked when, he says, "Tonight or tomorrow morning, one of those." Sucre tells Schofield, "Hey man, you hear that? They're going to find our hole. We need to do something." A guard brings Lincoln lunch in his cell. Finding a paper in the food tray, he asks what it is. The guard explains it's a form to fill out for what he wants for his last meal. When Lincoln pushes it back through the slot, the guard says, "You have to write something. If you don't fill it out, we'll just give you the regular meal. You don't want that, right?" The guard pushes the paper back under the door. Looking around nervously by the fence, C-Note approaches a PI worker and says he wants to work there. The worker tells him to stick to the kitchen. "Don't you punks control that area." C-Note negotiates. "Just wash about 5 more dishes, and I'll be white as original. No injections needed like Michael Jackson. I'll pay $100 a month." They settle on $150 after some haggling. In the yard, Schofield asks Abruzzi what he wants to do about Fibonacci. "I'll see it through to the end," Abruzzi replies. Schofield suggests arranging a direct meeting with Falzoni, so Abruzzi immediately calls him. Falzoni says, "Good. If you're sure you can get Fibonacci, I'll come. But there's one thing. If you and Schofield try any double-crossing, I'll cut your old wrinkled neck and finish you off." Abruzzi has to agree. While changing bandages on his foot wound, Sarah asks if Schofield's been stressed lately. He says there's a lot to think about, and he's feeling confused. He notices flower bracelet and asks if it's from a boyfriend. Sarah says no, her father sent it. It's her birthday today. Schofield wishes her happy birthday. She explains she's 29 now, and in all these years, she's only actually seen her father 6 times on her birthdays. When he can't see her, he sends flower bracelets like this. C-Note, who had been watching Schofield and the others dropping small stones, gets the PI job, and while moving equipment into rooms, he searches around to see what Schofield's group has been up to. He discovers the large hole they've been digging. Outside the house, we see 16-year-old LJ sitting dejectedly. It's heartbreaking. He witnessed his mother being killed right before his eyes. And he doesn't know if his biological father will even survive the next 10 to 15 days. Nick Savarin sits beside him. When I was your age, I went through something similar. For 15 years, I traveled daily between prison and law offices, fighting for my father who was unjustly framed. After persistent effort, the final result was what we hoped for. He was declared innocent and legally released. I'm working hard to get similar results for your father, Lincoln Burrows, so don't lose hope. The appointed person arrives at Paul Kellerman's room. His name is Quinn. I'm here to clean up the mess you've made, especially with Veronica and LJ. You lied about them being dead when they're still alive. As Paul Kellerman approaches, Quinn breaks his wrist. Before leaving, he says, "You don't need to go to the hospital. Just soak it in ice water for 45 minutes, and your hand will be back to normal." Veronica sits at her computer, examining the financial records of Ecofield Company related to Lincoln's case. According to what Stedman's woman said, there should be about $500 million in transactions, but the records only show about $250 million. She tells Nick Savarin to continue investigating what this shell company does and how it relates to Lincoln Burrows. As planned, Falzoni meets with Schofield while Abruzzi sits nearby waiting. When Falzoni asks how they found Fibonacci, Schofield explains, "Court witnesses like Fibonacci are protected by marshals. Before getting specialized protection, a county sheriff has to guard them. I made some calls and found out where Fibonacci is." When Schofield demands $200,000 for Fibonacci, Abruzzi shows Veronica's photo and threatens, "If you're stingy with money, I can't guarantee this girl's life either." Schofield has no choice but to give the exact address. As they're about to leave, Falzoni tells Abruzzi, "I thought your skills had declined, but you're still as sharp as before." He promises to restore the PI situation to how it was. "Oh wait, one more thing. Before you pull the trigger, tell that snitch Fibonacci that John Abruzzi sends his regards." While Vice President Caroline is preparing her speech for a campaign trip to Montgomery, she hears, "Did you send a babysitter to me?" and turns to see Paul Kellerman arriving. She tells him this isn't a good time to talk. Standing in a private area, Caroline says if they just complete their assigned work, they won't even need to call Quinn. Paul Kellerman responds, "You don't understand the situation. You called in company people, knowing what kind of people they are, and still calling them. If something goes wrong, both you and I are finished. If we don't continue doing what they want, death is the only path left. Think carefully and decide." Paul Kellerman then leaves. Quinn visits Veronica's ex-boyfriend, claiming to be from a life insurance company. He says they learned Veronica died in a bombing, and since no one contacted them about the life insurance, he's here to investigate. He asks for her address if she's still alive somewhere and not actually dead. Working late into the night, Veronica receives a message from her ex-boyfriend asking where she is out of concern, but she doesn't reply. Actually, Quinn killed the ex-boyfriend and is using his phone to send fake messages. The cold-blooded cleaner Quinn has traced Veronica's internet IP and knows her exact location. Abruzzi's guy calls to say Falzoni has been arrested by Canadian authorities on international weapons possession and bank fraud charges. The case will be quite serious. In the infirmary, while administering medicine, Schofield saying you tosses away some flowers, when Sarah told him she's allergic to flowers and doesn't like people bothering her knowing she can't handle them. Schofield calls her a pessimist. As he's about to leave, he places a small paper rose he made for Sarah. Abruzzi comes to Schofield's cell. "You and I need to have a serious talk. Because of the information you gave, Falzoni was arrested." When asked how he feels, Abruzzi replies, "I feel much better now that the drunkard is sitting down," and adds that the PI situation is resolved and they can get back to work. Abruzzi and Schofield worked together, using Veronica's photo to manipulate and get Falzoni out of the way. Lincoln sits in his small cell, reminiscing about old times, conversations he had with his two sons over breakfast, and how they used to talk about buying breakfast outside whenever Sunday came around. Walking with a victorious stride, Abruzzi dismisses someone who went blind with rage, telling him to get lost. When others want to follow that person, he tells them to go ahead and follow. Watching this, D.B. Cooper tells Schofield, who's playing chess nearby, "Looks like our big friend has reclaimed his throne." C-Note kicks out D.B. Cooper, telling the old man to take a walk, then puts some concrete powder on the table and tells Schofield, "You and I have things to talk about now. Since they've broken through the thick concrete, they just need to dig about another foot of soil to reach the underground pipeline. We'll escape on Friday. Get ready for the journey," Schofield says. Just then, Bellick and C-Note arrive, with C-Note saying he has business here. Though Abruzzi says they don't need more people, C-Note subtly taps the wooden board, covering the hole with his foot, and asks, "Are you sure?" Abruzzi and the others have to accept him. While Nick Savarin and his team discuss the $500 million case, the TV news becomes interesting. Caroline officially announces her presidential campaign bid, and the reporter mentions she has substantial funds for the election. Only then do Veronica and the others understand the $500 million case. Outside the house, the cold-blooded cleaner Quinn arrives, and we wait to see what he'll do next. This concludes Part 10. Will they be able to reach the infirmary through the underground route? What will C-Note reveal? What will Caroline's group do next? We'll continue watching in Part 11. This series will continue daily until the end, so please like and subscribe to the Cinema Essentials channel. Thank you all for watching until the end.